I think we're live. YouTube says we're live, so I'm going to say that we are. We got a cat. Look at my hand. Anywho, it is Monday night, and I'm going to be lame again. Actually, I had a few things come up in the last couple of days that kind of threw my life into the lurch a little bit, so we have to come up with a new plan. Ish. So today we're going to talk about writing goals for June and what we're planning on accomplishing and how we're going to do it. Because I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. Hey, Diana, how's it going? I guess I can minimize this screen here. We'll bring the chat over. There we go. Alrighty. Bam. Okay. Got my fireball here. I got my pad. Where's my pad? There it is. I'm going to write some ideas down as we go. One of my goals is to finish my paperwork stuff to go to school. Apparently, CU didn't get my transcripts of my GED scores, even though I paid for them. So I'm going to give them till tomorrow and we'll look it up. It's funny because my GED, writing was my lowest score on the GED back in 1993. So it's funny that my worst subject became my career. So where am I going to school? I was going to go to Southern New Hampshire, but University of Colorado is half the price, mostly because I'm here in Colorado. CU is just like 15 minutes away from me, so I can go to CU for half the price. Instead of $9.90 per credit hour, it's only $4.64, something like that. So, and with it being here, I can actually go on campus and it'll get me out of the house. So I get to hang out with a bunch of high school kids. Yay. And, because I'm going for my master's, and I figured, you know what? I might just swing for the fences and go for my PhD as well. I'll be like 56 by the time I'm done, but I'm going to finish being a doctor. So, guess we'll have to see how everything unfolds. But I'm already a quarter of the way through to get my bachelor's, and then I move immediately to the master's program. Good evening, Neil. Good evening, Jennifer. Nice, so you're just like me, attending classes in person and hanging out with the Zoomers. Unfortunately, I'm not looking forward to it. I know, I'm looking for. I used to, back in 2001, I went to Westwood College, and I was a little bit older than most of the people there, not by much, because this was back in 2001. So, a lot of my classmates were right out of college or right out of high school. And I really miss actually going to classes. I enjoyed leaving the house and driving down to go to school. And met a lot of cool people. And me and the guys hung out at IHOP and had usually used to have pancakes every morning before classes. Pretty fun. I'm only 10 years older than them, and they are like kids to me. Yeah. I'm going to be hitting 49 this year, so I don't want to hear it. You're not helping me at all. But anywho, I figured I had some news on Friday that kind of shook up my world. Don't know if I can really talk about it, but let's just say that I need to make some things happen very soon. So that's why we are talking about what we're doing for June and how we're going to accomplish our shit. So we're going to give this a few minutes. We'll dive right in. Yeah. One of the things I'm doing, I even have it in Asana, is actually setting up a spreadsheet full of ideas for the Monday night live stream so we don't just sit here and our thumbs up our butts. So there's that. So it's a creative writing program, or is it called something different? No, it's creative writing, I think, because there's two of them. There was the rhetoric one, and then there was the creative writing class. I don't know if I can get to it. That's you, Boulder. I'm not going to Boulder. Denver. Let me see if I can find it real fast. Creative. Whoops, writing. And then the goal is to do my master's with Annie DeWitt. She was on the show recently, and she does the master's program for creative writing, and she teaches here in Denver. So it'd be really cool. I like Annie. Let's see. I don't think I searched the right thing. See you, Denver. I've never seen this page, so I have no idea what it is. Okay, so here we go. Bachelor of Arts in English Creative Writing. That's what it is. Because there was another one that was Bachelor of Arts in English Writing, Rhetoric, and Technology. Rhetoric, I guess, and Technology. Tomato, tomato. This one is the Bachelor of Arts in English Creative Writing. And the cool thing is that some of my, I get like 5 electives, and there was some really cool class in the Rhetoric program that I can use as my electives. So one of them I think was screenplay writing. I'm really interested in that. So I'm looking at the creative writing program right now. So yep. I loved over a decade older than my classmates, or in undergrad. I had life experience that allowed me to excel. Yeah, that's what I'm probably going to wind up doing. The poetry workshop, I'm not sure because I've never done really poetry. Introduction to literature, I could probably excel at. Fiction workshop, I could probably teach that one. Narrative form and theory, I kind of like that one. Senior fiction workshop. Let's see, survey of the English novel to 1900. Oh no, I've been reading a lot of 1800s literature recently. It's long-winded. Some of them, like I like Bram Stoker's stories, but some of the ones by Edgar Allan Poe and I can't remember who I read recently, but my God, they spent like 2 pages describing a single freaking scene. But I refuse to DNF a book, so even if it takes me 3 years to read it. But the Bram Stoker one was really good. Fucked up ending, but it was really good. Let's see. New class started today. Awesome. Let's see. So, Michael, since you are working full time, how many classes will you take at a time? Just one. Working full time. Yeah, just the one. I'm going to be a part time student for now. Mostly because I can't afford it. So, and the Pell Grant's going to cover some of it, but I always err on the side of caution, and if I can't afford the $4.64 per credit hour, I won't do it. So, and besides, I got so much other crap that I'm trying to do that I don't think I could be a full-time student and get everything done. But let's see, there's the American novel, African American literature. I'm looking forward to reading that one, or doing that one. American short story, special topics in creative writing, emphasis in fiction. Yeah. Poetics, senior poetry workshop. I don't want to do poetry. Oh well, I'll still do it. Watch me excel at it or something. And then we got critical writing for print media. See, like that one I do already as a career. And magazine writing is pretty much essentially what I've done with Text Broker. And then there's 3 special topics in creative writing. Literary editing practicum. Probably gonna learn all kinds of new words this year. And then I got 5 electives, and one of them is going to be the screenplay writing. So that's if they ever get my damn paperwork. That's why I started too, but my advisor said it would take me 6 years to finish my master's at that rate, so I became full-time student. Looking back, I do not recommend that. Yeah, I'm a quarter of the way through my bachelor's program, so I don't think it'd take me a whole 6 years, but you already have a house and are established, so it probably wouldn't bother you as much. Yeah, I'm already pretty well set, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. I might go full time. It really depends on how let's do the first couple of classes and see how I handle everything. Um, and then if it looks like I can, then I might. But I don't want to sacrifice the blog or the YouTube channel. So we'll have to try to find a balance in everything. Those classes sound awesome. I've taken novels, screenwriting, short stories, magazine writing. Screenwriting is one I'm really looking forward to. You are a quarter of the way through already? Yes, because of the college work that I did in 2001. Some of those credits were able to transfer over to my bachelor's degree. And so, according to Southern New Hampshire, when I was getting ready to do those classes, I was 27% of the way through. So, I do have college credits under my belt before I even start. So, because this isn't my first rodeo, it just took 24 years. So like the psych class, I think I got credit for the math, and there was a couple others. I don't know if CU is going to do the same thing. They might have a completely different setup, so I might not get nearly as many credits off the bat. So really depends on how they have it all set up. Oh, oh! I just saw something. Area requirements. Choose one track, either fiction or poetry. Huh. Guess where I'm going. I don't have to do the poetry classes. Yay! It helps when you read. So the fiction track is the narrative form and theory senior fiction workshop, and then choose one course. So I can choose either survey of the English novel to 1900, which if I can only do one of these, because that's the survey of the English novel to 1900, the African American literature, the American novel, the American short story, and special topics in creative writing. Oh, don't know. There's like three of them that I would like to take. Of course, I can always use one of these as my um, elective because I get 5 electives. But kind of already filled them up from the rhetoric class, so I don't know which ones I'd want to use. Probably the survey of the English novels, 1900. I like classic stuff. I loved. Let's see, before 1900. That would have been was Journey to the Center of the Earth before 19. The Time Machine, Treasure Island, War of the Worlds. I think War of the Worlds came after 1900 though. Publication. Oh, 1898. So it was right before 1900. That was one of my favorite books when I was growing up. I loved War of the Worlds. That and Treasure Island were my top tier. Goals. Need to keep pulling at the threads of the research. Today's media have nudged me to look more at the public speeches, and now that played into social movements for my web. Yeah, the whole world's gone to hell in a handbasket. Hello, Margaret. How's it going? Oh, also, we had a nonfiction writing class, which was obviously my favorite. Yeah, you like nonfiction. I love fiction, so I'll probably do that one then. I'm just glad I don't have to do the poetry. So, moving on. I think I do have to have at least one. Yeah, required course. One of them is the poetry workshop. So I have to do poetry workshop and advanced poetry workshop, and then after that, I won't have to do it ever again. So there we go. Usually when people say they can't talk about something, it's advised by their lawyer not to say anything. Oh, did I miss something? My program was unique because of the nonfiction aspect, and now I have an amazing job doing that. That's awesome. The poetry courses aren't too bad. No, I know. I have a feeling I'll still do really well in them. 1830 speeches equals today's meme culture. Yeah, there you go. Oh wow, there's a lot of comparisons you can make. Actually, I love poetry class. Read Beowulf. Um, I never read Beowulf, but I've seen the movie. Well, animated movie. I know the gist of the story. And there's some poetry I like. Like I don't know if you'd call like The Raven is my favorite of all time. I can almost recite that word for word. Um, so I don't know. I probably will like it. Earlier you said you got some news, but didn't know if you could talk about it. Yeah. Okay. That's it's advised by the lawyer not to say anything. Yeah. I'm not. I don't have a lawyer, but I do have a contract, so I got to be careful because I know how to handle my contracts. So I can't really go into too much detail, but I do need to make some shit happen. So that includes trying to make more money on YouTube. $50 a month just isn't cutting it. But you can't make money if you don't make videos. So that's on me. I read Beowulf twice and watched the movie and still didn't get into it. Oh, see, I love the movie. Of course, the animated movie is one I liked. I haven't read the poem though. How long until you complete both degrees? I don't know. Like I said, it depends on when I can get started. I'm hoping August, and how much of my previous credits can transfer over to CU. So I don't know. I'm gonna be old. That's for sure. I'm really happy for you. Well, thank you very much, Diana. Don't get too happy yet. I still haven't been accepted. So worst case scenario, I've now been pre-accepted to SNU. So if CU turns me down, I can just go to Southern New Hampshire. I'd rather do CU because it's cheaper, but it is what it is. Before he's 52, so he won't be old. Yeah, well, you're not old. The hell, I'm not. Have you been putting off doing cleanup of tabs with research open? Should I do this evening or watch another episode of Department Q? I don't know. Depends on how much research you got. Right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I got 27 tabs open. But I have 64 gigs of memory on my computer, so I can do that. Yeah. Well, and then the tab for chat, I guess. Now, what about the programs? Let's see how many programs I got running. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 separate programs on top of that. My computer's busy doing shit. Not to mention the live stream. I like making folders and then throwing everything that I'm researching into the folder. Or if I'm using Readsy, I will put the research in the planning board with the URL. And I did a video on how to do that. And when I wrote Shadows of Atlantic City, I kept a YouTube video because it was how the 45 Navy Colt, they're not Navy Colt, the 45 Colt Peacemaker. I saved a video on how it operates and how it reloads and how it sounds and stuff. So I had reference to it. Anyway, I would put links to all the pages I've researched for Shadows of Atlantic City in Readsy. That way, I always have them. That would be dumb if they didn't accept you, considering you write for a living, right? I don't know. That's what, like I was saying, on my GED when I got it in 1993, my writing was just barely above passing because my essay was horrible. And science and math were spot on. But yeah, my writing was pretty low, which is funny considering that it's now my career. So hopefully they don't care about that kind of stuff, and let's just do this. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to try some tab management. Goal engaged. Have a good evening, friends. Have a good evening, Margaret. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to start talking about some goals here. Well, aside from getting signed up for college, maybe we should have changed the topic. I'm pretty excited. I'm looking forward to it. So, I'm going to be an English major. Never would have thought. I've always been more of a scientist, I thought. Okay, so my writing goals are definitely keep the blog on a regular routine. I might miss this week, though. It depends on how things go. Definitely get the YouTube channel on regular routine. Quit chewing on my pen, please. Cat, please stop. Let me write this. Pain in the butt. And how I'm going to do those is using my blocks of time. Now, I try to do everything a week in advance. That way I have an entire week to get certain things done. So, like if I need my next video that I wanted planned out was supposed to be for next Monday, that gives me all week to do it. I'd rather not because I want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So at some point this week, I need to make 3 videos. But keeping everything a week ahead means that if I have to take time off during the middle of a day for any reason, then it's not really screwing me sideways because I have the rest of the week and the weekend to complete that one task. So that's why I try to keep everything a week ahead. Doesn't always work that way, and I've been having some issues as of late, but I think June's a month we're going to get everything going. So college counts as a writing goal, especially being an English major. Yeah. So we're still on topic. I'm talking about English courses. Yeah. Doesn't look like there's a lot that's to it though. I guess we'll find out. I don't want doubles. Oh, clip. I can't clip anything? Lame. Well, that's just for the requirements. Okay, never mind. That's not including the other good fun stuff. Still, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Anywho, what else we got? My books. I want to finish the cover to Shadows, and I want to finish the first draft to Fury, which is almost done anyway. That should only take like 2 weeks, and then I set aside blocks of time to finish 7 finally, so I can get that one out of the way and mark that one as being done. And that's on Wattpad. I'm thinking as soon as I can get things to settle down a hair, I'd like to use Monday, Wednesday, Friday writing sprints for my books, like Fury, Shadows, and and I have like 2 more planned that I would like to write this year. And use Thursday and Friday for things like 7. And I would love to start working on Despair. In fact, that was the plan. I was going to use Thursday and Friday to get Despair going again. But I would really like to finish 7 off first. And that's almost done anyway. So I could probably start working on Despair by the end of June, beginning of July. So that is as long as I can maintain my workflow. Yeah. I'm excited today, aren't I? Yeah, it's like Yeah. Anywho, what is everybody else's goals? What are you guys working on? I know Margaret was working on some tab management. I have Arlo. Sven Graves will be on next Monday for an interview, and then we're going to have DJ on after that, talk about their game that we talked about with Sean. And yeah, I got another one too. I haven't read yet. Another email from an author, so look at that. So those are on Mondays though, so that's not really part of my goal. But Shaq Banshee, heck yeah! Hey there. And speaking of which, there you are. Yep. In fact, Arlo, that you're here, the blog comes out tomorrow on WriterSanctuary. I was going to, as soon as it's published, I'll send you an email with the link to it so you can check it out. You can promote it all you like. It'll go out Tuesday, and then I have community tab posts on Wednesday and Monday. And I usually try to share the blog post again on Fridays. So that way we can get all kinds of goodness going for you around the show. So Beth says, I want to finish writing book 2 of my fantasy series. That is a Medusa retelling. Ooh. I kind of like that actually. You guys come up with some awesome ideas. I'm working on book 2. Fury is my dark fantasy. It's book 2 to Kingmaker, and it's not kids lit. So, but fantasy series that is a Medusa retelling. So, would you like to share on how you're retelling Medusa? And everybody else who's on right now, I looked at Arlo's Black Rose, and I don't know if it's because I wrote Shadows of Atlantic City, but your Western kind of piqued my interest, so I might have to buy that one. I'm pretty excited to talk about that one. I know that you have the new book out and the Kickstarter and all that to it, but yeah, for some reason I click more with Black Rose, so that's going to be exciting for me anyway. I'm sure we'll talk about the new book too, but yeah. So I'm working on for me, Fury is at just over 90,000 words. And I'm guessing probably another 20,000 to go before it's done. And then the beta readers have to go through it. I'm hoping I don't have too much going on in the book. I might have to redo it. So, but I'm going to wait to see what they think before I even decide to shit can what I got. So, let's see. Oh, thanks. I'm super proud of Black Rose. Yeah, it sounds like a great book. So, I like that kind of stuff. And so, Shadows of Atlantic City, when I wrote it, it's not your typical Western. Think of Wild Wild West meets Supernatural meets Sherlock Holmes. And so it's more of an unorthodox Western. And so when I was reading the description of Black Rose, I'm like, that's kind of like along the lines of what I do too. So let's see. Beth says the main focus is on bloodline magic and how Medusa wasn't a monster, but actually was using protection magic. Well, that's kind of cool. Hello, lovelies. Hello, Maggie. How's it going? Yeah, sweet. I kind of like when people do retellings and stuff, kind of like reimaginings. I always view it from the perspective of what if or alternate reality. So I don't know. This way I view things sometimes. If you wrote a Western-ish anything, I've got to read it. Yeah, Shadows of Atlantic City is being read one last time right now. I'm working on the book cover. It should be out hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So, but yeah, it's definitely one of my better books. I had a lot of fun writing it. I had a lot of fun researching it. And the sequel to it is going to be taking place here in Denver. And so I've got a lot of research, a lot of places I can research for 1874 Denver. So, hey, Michael, can you endorse me for some skills on LinkedIn? I don't know. Do you got skills? I'm rarely on LinkedIn, so I'll have to look. Remind me on Discord. I'll forget. So, sweet. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun writing it. I enjoyed. Uh, I kind of like old style westerns, but I wanted this one to be more fun. And what happened? The reason why the book came to being in the first place is because my brother-in-law wanted me to write a western, and it was a challenge for a short story contest on vocal. And so when I wrote it, I thought I want to expand on this a little bit. And um, when I started planning it out, I decided to go a different route from the original story, but still in the same it's still in the same cloth as the crate, which was the short story that I wrote. And so Shadows became its own entity, and it just took off, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We should chat. The research for VR was the best part. Oh yeah, I enjoyed researching. Like I had to pull up a lot of stuff for it because I based it in Atlantic City in 1874. I'm nowhere near Atlantic City, so I had to read a lot of crap. But my book also features Shadows has it features the 45 Colt Peacemaker of the 1873 model. They were gifts, and it was a lot of fun to write it. And so when I read the description of your book, I'm like, oh, that'd be so fun. Because I at one point I was thinking about adding Wyatt Earp to it at some point. I I'm toying with adding Wild Bill Cody to Denver when I write it, and we have his grave up here, and I'm looking forward to doing all kinds of research on him. And so it's yeah, Denver's going to be a lot of fun to research. I'm looking forward to it. I have contemporary westerns based in southwestern Colorado. The series started as a bet to write a story based on the billionaire romance trope that I hated. I did so much research on that part of it. Nice. The state I only had visited twice before writing the series. Well, I've never been to the East Coast, so trying to get everything right was a lot of fun. It took a goddamn the land mass alone took me like 2 days to research through. Um, I'll make sure my camera angle is correct so the Colt butt line is in frame. Awesome. Yeah, I still have to find. I want to get the Colt Peacemakers that are in my book, but um, the last time I priced them, they were $1,800 a piece. So that's kind of cool that you have yours, though. That's one thing I wanted. But maybe one day. People from Pagosa Springs thought I had lived there after reading the Pagosa Cliffs books. Nice. Yeah, if you can write it, do thorough research, you can make it feel like you're actually there. So, a lot of fun. I love doing research for my shit. Don't have to do a lot for the Witchem series, but that's mostly fantasy, and I'm building that world from scratch in my head. So, Shadows was a bit different because I had to go back in time 150 years. But it was based on an actual ship that sank, so it was a lot of fun, and I just ran with it. They're not cheap. Mine was a gift from my parents for my 18th, which was a very long time ago. Yeah, I bet. Pagosa, that's my hometown. Yep, Jennifer's from Pagosa Springs. I have to make myself stop doing world building and research and start writing because I liked the part the best. Yeah, yeah, you can get sucked into like really fleshing out your world and like never write the book. So, oh my God, everybody's gonna visit me tonight. This is Max. Max is never on my lap. What's up, baby? Hmm? Earlier it was Shadow. Made a fake town called Pagosa Cliffs. That is a mix of Pagosa Springs and Ori. Yeah, we talked about that when you were on the show. All hail the feline overlords. Yep, especially this one. This is my apple girl. My mama. Well, actually, you're not a mama. You got fixed the first thing. You're just the big one. She's the oldest. Yeah. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, my writing goals are kind of lame today. The blog, the books. Let's see, I want to finish. I got to finish the book Cover to Shadows. Finish writing the first draft of Fury, and then finish the story on Wattpad for 7. I should be able to do all that. I would really love to get back into Despair. Despair is the audiobook that I use, that I created on WriterSanctuary YouTube channel. And I put the video, or I embed the video in Wattpad, so you can either watch or listen to it, read it, or follow along. And it was a lot of fun to make it. I love doing the Despair series. I add sound effects to the background, trying to recapture the 1920s radio shows. Would love to get some voice actors, so it's really 1920s a radio show, but they cost money, if any. However, I do have a voice changer, so I might just use it. Excuse me. Oh, what else we got? We have Beth is working on her second book. Hey, if you already have a book, Beth, feel free to contact me on WriterSanctuary.com to schedule an interview. Maybe a live interview. I'm going to have Shaq Banshee, aka Arlo Sven Graves. Sorry. Mine farted there. And they'll be on next Monday. And then after that is Dawn DJ. They were talking about their the RPG that they're making. And we're going to be relating it with writing. And then after that, I don't think I have anybody scheduled until like August. So Beth, feel free to use the contact form on WriterSanctuary.com and we can schedule an interview. As long as you have at least one book published and it's not AI. I have a very dim view of generative AI, so I'm really excited to watch the RPG interview. I'm really excited to have it. Having Sean on was like, I had all these questions for Sean, and I got to ask him one thing, and he just kind of ran with everything. So it was a lot of fun. But I really wanted to ask him about some of his books, and we just kind of went off on a tangent for an hour or 2 hours, I think. We were on for a while. I'd like to have Sean on again. He was a lot of fun. I have 3 published romance novels with a 4th in the works. The fantasy series is years down the line. Well, still, I've had everybody on the show so far. I've got all kinds of fantasy. I've had 2 Christian authors, romance, kids books. So my only stipulation is as long as you have 1 book published, I don't care. I like to meet people of all kinds. It's really neat to hear about how everybody got started, and there's stories on how they created their stuff. So, and I don't charge to be on my show. I can't believe there's some people out there that charge others to be on their show, like for podcasting shit. I mean, that is such a bottom feeder behavior. I guess I'm just, I don't know. I hate the thought. I mean, scumbags. Anyway, I'll go on a rant. Yeah, I don't believe in charging people to be on my show. I think we're helping each other out. You're giving me content, and I'm helping spread the word of your books. I think, why would I charge anybody for that? Anyway, you are a pain in my ass. You know that? Excellent. Anywho, let's see what else we got. Who's all doing some writing goals for June? I am going to try my hardest to get videos up and more blog posts. Awesome, thanks. Well, you're welcome. Welcome, very much welcome. Wow. It's been a long 3 days. You're very welcome, Beth. Yeah. I've been talking about goals for like 3 days now, like on the blog, on the Substack. I mean, even I'm starting to get tired of it. So I think you're awesome to share your podcast with indie authors. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, Maggie. But yeah, it's I don't know. I try to do my best to help when I can. I don't have a lot of money. I try to buy everybody's books. Like the stack behind me that are sideways, those are all books I bought from my first book signing with the indie authors. I bought um, Timothy Robert's book that I still have to read. I started reading Blood Magic by Laura Thompson. I bought Sandrine's book of poetry, which was really good, by the way. Um, so I try to buy everybody's books as much as I can, but I don't have a lot of money, so. But I'm definitely adding things to my list and putting stuff on my watch list and in a folder of saved bookmarks because I have to buy Mediterranean Waves and Black Rose, and there's one that Sean had that really piqued my interest. I have it saved, so I'll have to look it up. But so I try to buy everybody's books as well. So it's fun to. I enjoy reading. I have read some indie authors that are better than a lot of trad published authors. So I'm kind of taking a rest for June, but I'll inevitably end up editing a novella and working on draft 3 of book 2 for the fantasy series. Awesome. You ought to do some more of your short stories too on your website. I saw a couple of those. I am taking a writing break after finally posting Darkness of the Devourer. Awesome. Catching up on some beta reading. Cool. I'm catching up on some beta writing. Actually, we're wrapping things up on it, so I'm really hoping to get Shadows out soon. I would love to have Shadows out before Read Between the Stars. I would like to have Fury done before Read Between the Stars. I'm going to be there October 4th. There was another event that I was looking at for January 25th, but it was $220 for the table. What the hell? And no, I'm not going to spend that much for the table. Sorry. I am broke folk. Michael, if someone stays at a job for just 1 year, do you think that it's a red flag or is it okay? I don't know. It depends on the circumstance surrounding it. As a hiring manager, it would make me raise an eyebrow, but I would talk to the individual about it and find out what their issues were. Sometimes people just don't have a good fit. So I need to finish formatting the next Pagosa book for July, and I'm just not feeling it this week. And I know I will be super busy when the AuthorTube writing conference starts the last weekend of June. See, I didn't even know about that. I'm out of the loop. Depends on the type of job. Yeah, I agree with Maggie. It really depends on the type of job and the circumstances surrounding it. So, um, like I said, as a hiring manager, I would raise an eyebrow to it, but I would also talk to the person about it. It's the gaps between employment that people balk at the most. I don't know about nowadays. Back 20 years ago, it would be, but who knows? I mean, in the context of writing, editing jobs, for just 1 year, yeah, it really depends on circumstances surrounding your why you left. God damn, you need to be brushed, cat. Holy crap, you're shitty. Eh. Max left, Shadow came back. You got hair everywhere. For the last 4 years, SD Houston has organized a free writing conference for you author tubers because years ago we were shocked at conferences costing hundreds. Yeah, that's like some of the ones I looked at. Like, well, it's like the one I was talking about is the $220 table fee for the author signing event on July 25th. And all I can think is it's from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on a Friday. So not only you might have to take off work because not all indie authors can support themselves to write full time. So you probably have a job that you have to take the day off. And then you're going to hope that other people also take the day off to come visit the author signing event. And there's no guarantee anybody's going to show up for $220 for 5 hours. No, not going to happen. Maybe if you had Stephen King in the lineup, or if maybe you had like Nora Roberts or Dean Koontz, or God forbid J.K. Rowling, a big name maybe as a headliner, but no, $220 for a table for 5 hours on a Friday. No, sorry. Not to mention that the person putting the LLC that's putting it together does not have their own website, so there's no way to contact them directly, which is another red flag. So, yeah. Anyway, but as for writing conferences, I agree. Some of them are just stupid. That's one thing I would love to do with Writer Sanctuary down the line when I build up the brand more, is I would love to do writing retreats, conferences, book signing events, but would set them up correctly. For one thing, I'd hire a public relations manager. I tend to be channel mod for multiple streams. Awesome. Yeah, I bounce around a little bit. I don't get a chance to go to Margaret's very often because when she goes live, I'm like in the middle of doing shit. So like even on Sundays. But I try to make it in when I can. I've been to a few people's streams and videos, so I try. But alas, I've got so much to do. Anybody else have any cool goals we'd like to talk about? What your plans are? I know we've got people that are taking days or taking months off. What the hell? My cat keeps pushing my notebook up and it keeps hitting the space bar. Will you quit? No. Quit chewing on my pen. Cat. Anyway. Yeah, essentially that's my goals anyway. Well, I finish Shadows. Like I've seen people on social media where they're like one author said that her goal was to have 20 reviews and 100 reads on KU. And all I can think is those aren't logical goals. Goals should be based on stuff you have control over. You can't force people to review your book. You can't force people to read your book. Those are goals that are setting yourself up for failure. What you should do are set goals of things you can control. Now, if you want to get 20 reviews, one of your goals could be maybe promoting your book more often on social media or asking people to review your book, stuff like that. How many times you post on social of reviewing your book. Setting goals of things you have control over. I don't take, like, I would love to have 200 visitors a day on WriterSanctuary.com, but again, I can't force people to visit the blog. What I can control is the amount of content I create and finding topics that I think people would like to read. So those are viable goals. But when you're basing stuff off of numbers or income or views, you can't control those. And so that often leads to frustration and anxiety. So always base your goals on stuff you can control. Let's see. Neil says, I'm trying to catch up with my reading goals, let alone write anything. Yeah, someone's supposed to read a book. Someone's supposed to read a Western book. Let's see. June 1st is my first book signing ever. Yeah, I saw that I think you posted it on Instagram, which was a goal I have had since I was a kid. My fantasy novel drops on the 17th, so they're sort of goals I've worked towards for a long time. That is awesome. Yeah, that was kind of cool to see that. So I'm glad it panned out well for you. Good points about goals. I should set a goal to do more video content on social media. Coughs video. Yeah, in fact, that's one of the things I mentioned in the blog post tomorrow that comes out for your interview was um okay, hold on. If that's the other so the show goals I worked on for a long time. Oh, the because you have fewer videos on your TikTok than I do. I've got one, and I didn't even make it. So I made the comment that at least I'm not the only one who doesn't use TikTok. So, but that's great because we all share the TikTok link, no videos, but we share the profile. So I agree. I need to figure out something to do with shorts and TikTok too, but I don't know. I'm a great beta reader, except I'm reading for Michael and it gives me night terrors. Yeah, somebody can't handle um I mean, shadows isn't really that scary. It's disturbing. At least you're not reading seven. Seven would give you night terrors. Unless you're reading Gluttony, then that was just nasty. I'm very disgusting. Yeah, there's like when I was writing seven, there were times where like when I finished writing Gluttony, it made me giggle because I am very disgusting. And it makes you think, "So what the hell's wrong with me?" So yeah. Oops. Oh man, yeah, there's got a lot to do. And one thing I'm gonna be working on this month, and I think it might have been in my Substack, is I am working on time management. I need to get it to a certain percentage. If I hit my time management goals, that means that I put in quality time to everything I'm trying to accomplish. So time management is my primary goal for June. I need to do X amount of hours, whether it's writing in blog posts, making videos, writing my book, doing the writing sprints, doing these shows. Uh, so if I can hit a certain number of hours, then that's an indicator that things are getting done. And so that's my primary goal. And it's crazy because my life is so chaotic. Let's say your writing is disturbing, which is what you want. Yes, yes, it is. I myself am strange and unusual. But yeah, um, I could try writing a kid's children's book, but it would be twisted as hell. Oh, the things I could do with Whoville. I am finishing up beta reading notes tomorrow. I love it, but I don't do horror stories or spicy stories. As a Gen Xer, I know I have seen enough to know I have seen enough. I don't feel like reading it. Yeah, each to their own. Everybody has their cup of tea. I've always been attracted to horror and strange shit. I love supernatural stuff, sci-fi, fantasy. Um, when it comes to fantasy, though, I'm more attracted to dark fantasy or um, stuff that's not like damsel in distress and the saved by the prince crap. No, I need people dying left and right. So, yes, Michael, write a horror children's book. There's been a few times where I was thinking about doing it, market it to the adults, but write a children's horror book. Imagine what I can do with Clifford. Oh yeah, a giant dog that eats people. Be like Cerberus on steroids. Oh, thank you very much for putting the link in, Neo. I think that was the one from today. But yeah, if my Substack, I try to publish the Substack every Monday morning, and it's I'm trying to separate it from WriterSanctuary. WriterSanctuary I use to help teach people how to um, freelance writing, blogging, and self-publishing. So I do a lot of instructional and informational stuff on WriterSanctuary. The Substack, on the other hand, is more of my views from the perspective of a self-published author. So I try to keep it separated from the two. So it's going to be a busy week of goodness. Mentions time management. This was from May 12th. Oh, so did I double up on it from this morning? Probably. I need to pay more attention to what the hell I write. I kill planets in my sci-fi or sci-fan, but it isn't really horror. It's space opera with dinosaurs. It's like Star Trek with dinosaurs. That'd be awesome. Or Sword and Planet without damsels. I have one damsel, but she is a product of her mother's ambition. I have one damsel in Fury, but she loses her fucking mind. Her anger is dialed to 11, hence the name of the book. Yeah, it's kind of gory before the first chapter, halfway through the first chapter. She loses her shit. All for good reason. You have to read the end of Kingmaker, but yeah. This is from today. Are you ready to create some goodness in June? Yeah, that's man. Yep. I need to come up with better topics. Just make me feel bad now. I'm repeating myself with the damn videos. That's another goal. I'm going to get that done. I'm going to do the spreadsheet so we actually have topics. I loved talking about the dialogue in movies. When we did that, it's been a while. That was a lot of fun. So we'll have to do more fun topics like that. I'm promoting you. Yes, you are, Neo. Thank you. If I had the money, Neo, I would. You are worth more than I could possibly give you. You do a great job. I'm gonna have to figure something out. Maybe I'll give you like hellish discounts or something. I would give you a channel membership for free, but YouTube doesn't let me do that. Like I could do it with Buy Me a Coffee and Ko-Fi, but YouTube memberships won't let me do free memberships. So like that's kind of lame. So I'll have to figure something out to get you something awesome, because you're awesome. I completely agree with Michael's take on setting realistic goals. Thank you very much, Maggie. Yeah, realistic goals. Make them ones you can control. That's like I didn't say anything to the author, but I wanted to. I just didn't want to like. I don't go out of my way to make people feel bad on social media. And a lot of times I don't comment unless I have something to say. Unless I'm being funny. But and so I don't want to like put her under the or throw her under the bus or anything, but never never really set or create goals of things you can't control. So it sets you up for failure. And I've seen a lot of people get frustrated to the point of whether they quit because they didn't reach their goals. So always focus on things you can control. Well, I think it is almost 8 o'clock. I don't know if we ever really did the topic very well. I spent 25 minutes talking about my college career. And yes, I still plan on doing videos of my my college career as a 50-year-old as soon as I start. I would like to do something similar to I did with Reedsy's masterclass for how to write a novel. Every week I did an update video on what I learned that week and things I shared and whatnot. I would love to do something similar with CU. It just depends on how the classes are laid out. So I think we'll wind up doing something similar like that. But there's going to be a lot of exploration of me taking college courses. So I've seen a couple of people say they were interested in seeing that, so they'll be part of the library. Anywho, I guess we can look at the card. And y'all notice that I put the card in the community tab this week? happen very often. Our daily affirmation for last week was I will create stories that are complex, interesting, and believable. I will create content that someone cannot wait to get their hands on. I can't remember what I wrote in the community tab for that, but this week's card, drum roll please. Our daily affirmation is I am a successful writer. Yes, I am. I continue to show up for myself and my readers. Yes, I do. I am courageous and deserve to feel pride in my work and my craft. Yes. Actually, I've done quite a few blog posts about that. It's not being conceited to have confidence in your abilities. It's a big difference between confidence and conceit. When you have confidence, you're not trying to make people feel lesser. You're not trying to make anyone feel inferior. A confident person just knows they can do what it is they want to do. Someone who is conceited is often arrogant and goes out of their way to make people feel lower to make themselves feel greater. So never confuse the two. And sometimes I know people, when they start feeling confidence about themselves, they can feel guilty because they think that they're being conceited or arrogant, and that's not the case. This as long as you don't try to rub it in someone's face. I am a successful writer. I was able to quit my job at the school district and write full time since 2013. So yeah, I'm able to pay my mortgage. I would call that a success. As a freelancer, I haven't sold not a lot of books, but I have sold a lot of content for clients. So that aspect I can say I'm a success at. But I will always keep writing and creating videos to help people find their paths because I love helping. That's my nature. I want to see you succeed. So one of the biggest reasons why I started doing the interviews. I love learning about other people and I love sharing and helping them get more exposure. So, and yes, I have a lot of pride in my work, which is why Friday kind of sucked. But anyway, here we are. Confidence in my story creating and world building? Yes. In editing, formatting, or marketing? No. I think a lot of us can say that we don't have the best confidence in our marketing abilities. If we did, we'd be bestsellers. No, I'm still working on trying to crack that code, and you can bet your ass that if I am able to, if I'm able to figure out how to sell a lot more books, I'm going to share it with y'all. So, and I'm not going to hide it behind a paywall. I'll just put it in a video and hopefully make a lot of ad revenue. So, goddamn, I'm flammy tonight. I am better at encouraging others than encouraging myself. Yes, I feel that in spades. Imposter syndrome is real. Oh yeah. Like even at the very beginning, I had a hard time as a freelance writer when I began my career. It wasn't until about 3 or 4 years later where I started feeling that I was worth the praises I was getting because everybody would love my stuff. For Text Broker, I submitted 5,583 articles, only 3 rejections, and 2 of them weren't even my fault. So, and even then, I still felt like I wasn't good enough. But I broke out of that. So it's not something you can fix overnight, but it is debilitating. I put your easy video on my writing tips playlist. Yeah, which one? I've got plenty of them. So that's amazing. Yeah, you once you get to a certain part, and the cool thing about it is that when you start developing confidence in anything, um, and you start really embracing that you are good enough, it starts bleeding into other aspects of your life. Like I became, I'm really confident that I am exceptionally, how can I word it? I am an exceptional writer, freelance writer, and I've completed thousands and thousands of articles for thousands of clients across the globe, and I've made tens of thousands of dollars on content mills. So I can say that yes, it builds when you start getting to that point. I started feeling confident that I did know what I was talking about, and then now I find myself confident enough to talk to people outside. I never used to talk to anybody in the elevator. Now I'm having fun with people at the cash register at a grocery store, pumping gas, like complete strangers. I never talked to anybody. So um, once you start building that confidence, it starts bleeding into different aspects of your life, and it's kind of cool, especially coming from a hermit. I hate people. But do I really? Anywho, we're gonna call it a night. Um, don't forget that I will be having Arlo Sven Graves will be on next Monday for the interview, and I'm looking forward to talking about their books, Black Rose and um, The Ice Moves for No One. The blog post for that comes out tomorrow morning on WriterSanctuary.com. If you have at least one book published, feel free to reach out using the author contact form and get you scheduled on the show. And I try to do them every other week, but sometimes things get kind of a little screwy. And this time we're going to have Arlo's going to be on, then DJ, and I thought I had one more right after that. So 3 weeks of interviews. I try to do them every other week. That way I have time to, I'd like to help market it, the person I'm having on. And so that's why I do it every other week, or try to anyway. Um, I just don't have time to like try to cram everybody one after another and still get the rest of my stuff done. So, but this time I'm winging it. So, but yeah, Shaq Banshee will be on next Monday. I need a new outro. Most of my books are found on Amazon. The link is in the description down below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can always hit me up on social media. I'm active on Threads. I'm trying to get more active on Instagram. I've been posting a few more images, not of books, but more of animals. So if you like animals, my Instagram is pretty full of them. I'm rarely active on Thread or Twitter anymore. I have stuff auto posted to Twitter, and I often reply to direct messages on Twitter, but it's such a dumpster fire, so I kind of ignore Twitter. And Facebook doesn't tell me I have messages until like 4 days later. So if you want to get in touch with me, Threads, Instagram, and the contact form on the website are the three best ways to do it, outside of leaving a comment on any video that I have in my library, because I reply to people almost immediately. I have YouTube running 24/7. As soon as it pops up, I reply to comments. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me tonight. I don't know if we really covered the topic, but what's new? Yeah. I will be working on a spreadsheet of viable things we can talk about. I still had fun. I mean, we talked about college mostly. Anywho, have a good one, everybody, and I will see you next time. If I can find my OBS. There you are. All right.